Good morning, welcome to the Volvo. It's 5:24 and I'm about to head out to Curborough. It's about 2 hours from here. This is Friday and this is new for the academy. So the sprint event has kind of always been the start of the season. Historically there used to be multiple sprint events, but the kind of recurring theme was always you're not allowed to practice there. To the point they'll deduct championship points if they catch you booking the place out for yourself and stuff like that. However, today is Friday and it's an official academy practice day, so it's the first time the academy cohort have been able to kind of get warmed up to the idea of sprinting. So anybody who's not familiar with sprinting, it's not wheel-to-wheel racing. It is a standing start, car from cold, and then it's like an A to B course, sometimes interchangeable with hill climbing. But yeah, there's a start line, lights go green, you launch it, you do a course on cold tyres, then you cross the line. Whoever gets the fastest time wins. So I'm going to hit the road now, pick some supplies up from the petrol station on the way, and I will check in from the paddock. Hello and welcome to the Curborough sprint course. So as ever with the academy, Caterham don't just throw you in to this sort of stuff. They really do try to guide you into motorsport as gently as possible. And part of this was this track walk. So yeah, we led by a racing coach. We got to walk around the track, kind of convince ourselves that we were chilled out about all of this, and just got some top tips about turning points, exit points, what gears to be in, things like that. So yeah, really nice, gentle way into the day. Shorts were a bit ambitious though, lads. It was freezing. And then shortly after this, it was time to get ready for some practice runs. Nothing today. There was no prizes for today. This was purely a practice day. Alright, so just staging to get ready for the first practice run. I think I'm in the second group to go out, so the kind of order of preparedness is like this. These guys to my left are all in their cars, so I should probably get in mine. I've just done the track walk, very informative. Let's see what we can do. So we have my very first run out on the Curborough course. I had a plan here, just go around, figure it out. Pretty steady start, got a bit of wheel spin, backed out of it, got back on again. But yeah, I had a plan for this. I didn't want to be sideways everywhere because I figured that would just rob me of some good learning. So I was way off, trying to take it all in, trying to tactically use this run. But yeah, the course, I did spend a bit of time on Assetto Corsa just to learn the layout. It is a bit confusing when you watch it on video, because you go over the same layout twice, kind of as a bit of a figure of eight. And for that same reason, the V-Box really struggles with this, so you kind of ignore the timing data for these videos, because you effectively cross the finish line twice as part of the run, once in the backwards direction. So I'm about to do the second hairpin here, and now this is the finish line I'm now crossing, but backwards. So yeah, it's a little bit of a confusing layout, but it just all made sense when I was there. The track walk plus the time I spent on Assetto Corsa did the trick nicely. So yeah, I felt like this run went okay for a first run. The time was way off. I think it was a 72-second time, and I knew somewhere in the 65s was ultimately going to be a good time. So yeah, clearly a lot of work to do, but a good familiarisation run. Now, unfortunately, this just coming into the pits now, this was kind of the last time my car would be running properly for much of the weekend. I developed some niggles with the car, and it wasn't clear to me how much of it was in my head, how much of it was materially affecting the runs, but it was definitely getting to me. I'll chat about the issues later on, because at this point, you can see here we've got the day one lap times, and you can see I plateaued out in the sort of 68s, 67s pretty much all day, and I was really struggling critically as well. My starts were getting worse and worse throughout the day. You can see the 60-foot times on the left. After lunch, I couldn't really get below 3.5 seconds, due to this niggle that I was having. So I'll show you now the best run of the day, which was the 67.36, with plenty to be building on for the Saturday. Oh, good evening. Join me from my Premier Inn room. It's not that sort of video. Calm down. End of the practice day. I'm pretty disappointed, to be honest. So I finished just about in the top 10, I think. Something like 7, 8, 9, something like that. But I was, which, don't get me wrong, right? If you asked me at the start of the season, if you're going to be in the top third of the field, how would you feel? I'd be over the moon. But when I saw where I was kind of trending in earlier in the morning, things were looking a lot spicier. And the other reason why I'm so disappointed is because I had a bit of a niggle on the car, and I don't think it materially caused my lack of progress, but I let it get to my head, which is disappointing because, all of this prep and all of this kind of effort to let something wind you up like that. And the problem I was having was the car was cutting out. So we spend a lot of time queuing, just like waiting to go out for our next run. So obviously you want to get some temperature in the engine and stuff. So everybody sat there with the cars running, and mine just kept conking out. Not when I was trying to pull away or anything, just no pedals, no clutch, no nothing. It would just die. And then it started happening when I was kind of staging to launch. So I was kind of trying to hold my revs to get the launch going. And then the revs started dipping and diving. So I just had to spam loads of revs into it. And then it sort of drove okay. Well, it did drive okay once the run was going. But I just let it get to my head, and I started fluffing gear changes and all sorts of things. And it was distracting also between the sessions. So because Caterham are here to support, Darren plugged his laptop in and he recalibrated the TPS, and that was the instant thing he jumped towards. Unfortunately, that was it. That was the end of the day. So I've kind of packed the car up in the trailer and come to the Premier Inn, not knowing whether it's fixed or not. And tomorrow the stopwatch is running for real. So yeah, it's going to be difficult to mentally reset, but I need to do because there's a lot of potential. Quite exciting. There's some absolute standout talents. It's clear already. Calling Max out straight away. Annoyingly, Max, if you're watching, the worst thing about him is he's just such a nice guy. I'd love to dislike him, but I don't think I can. So Max is looking really, really, really quick. So one to watch for the season, I think. But yeah, exciting stuff. Try and have a reset tonight. Get some food. good night's sleep, and hopefully tomorrow we can start tapping further into that top 10 a little bit. Morning, competition day. Welcome back. Got a good night's sleep, but I've not got off to a great start. Car's still not idling. Trying to get some heat into it, see if it's just a running wild cold thing. And I've just noticed my auxiliary belt is touching my steering rack. So I've just had to adjust my rack. You can see in there, look, where it's been rubbing. So that's not ideal. So yeah, I'm gonna have a coffee, chill out a bit before scrutineering, and hopefully the car behaves when it's up to temp. So we go into day 2. As I say, the niggles were very much still present, but I felt pretty good. I felt like I had a plan. They only seemed to be really affecting the launch that I could tell. In retrospect, when I've watched the videos back, making this compilation, I do think it was also affecting other areas. The revs definitely felt boggy in certain areas. But anyway, that's kind of in the past now. But I was at this point in time, I was feeling pretty good. I was feeling up for the fight really. Despite some niggles, I felt like my times weren't awful. And watching my videos back in the hotel room, of which I did lots of, I'd spotted a few areas for cheap improvement. So yeah, I will get straight into the laps. I think I did the first session out was a 68 or something like that, 67 maybe. And then the second run out, I was into the 66s, which is where I knew I needed to be. So by the second run, even though the car was still being a little bit finicky, I was feeling good about it. Quick note on this section coming up here. There is an argument for upshifting to third. That's probably the fastest way around here. But with the problems I'd been having, it was just introducing another variable to screw up. So I did make a conscious decision to keep it in second through that section and bash the limiter. That was almost definitely leaving something on the table. But I feel like, shifting up into third only works if you're doing a really fast time. If you're slightly off the pace, second is probably more than adequate. Quick early afternoon update from the trailer. It's been quite a day actually. Started off well enough with the times, but the problem with the car was getting steadily worse, which started to get a bit disruptive. So finally, the guys at Caterham witnessed the issue as I was pulling on. I got called onto the weighbridge after a run, and it just conked out on the weighbridge, and they realised, okay, yeah, this is definitely not right. So Caterham Dave and Darren spent ages on the car. Really appreciate the help. And what they effectively ended up doing was like rewiring the ignition switch stuff behind the dash, went over the immobiliser and various other bits. Found no smoking guns as such, but touch wood. They worked on it over lunchtime, and touch wood, I've just done a run and it behaved quite nicely. So I now need to get my head in the game. I think probably got 2 runs left if I'm lucky, maybe even just 1. I'm not particularly competitive right now, I've got to be honest. Started off the morning well enough, but when I've been letting myself get distracted, I guess I've just fallen behind. So I need to all or nothing now. I try not to overdrive it and see if I can put a representative time in. So here we go, this is what ended up being my fastest run. It's my second to last run, so I will leave you to it. Enjoy. Right, good afternoon. I am finished. I am out of my race gear. What will be will be. Second to last run was my best. I managed a 66 dead, which I would have loved to have seen the 59s, because the 59, like most years, is a good time. Go on, Mark. But this year, the grid, wow. I was watching a time live come in, and one of the chaps, I think he got just nipped into the 66s, which should be like a good time in most years, right? I think. And he was like 16th. So, yeah, crazy. So, yeah, I don't know where I'll finish yet. Waiting to see his last couple of cars come round. I think there's 2 more in the queue after Mark is indicating. That means he's going left. So yeah, I have enjoyed the weekend on balance. If I'd have not pulled that 66 dead out, I would have been really quite upset, because I knew I had more time in me, and I was just letting this electrical gremlin just get to me. Whether it was materially affecting my runs, I can't honestly say. I think it was. The car did feel just so much more sprightly after it got fixed. But the main thing is just, thinking forward to brands. The Caterham guys did an absolutely amazing job for me, but they didn't. It's not like they spotted anything. They didn't find something and say, "Aha, that was the problem." No smoking gun as such. They. Oh, that was a change to 5th, I'm afraid, Ollie. I'm not. It's a shame. Yeah, they just kind of belt and braces, just rewired a load of stuff. Made most of the stuff around the starter switch and the immobiliser. So, fingers crossed, that's the end of it now. I'm going to give it all a really good looking at when I get home, obviously. And fingers crossed, nothing major to do before Brands Hatch, which is, I'll be packing up to travel to Brands Hatch in like 10 days. So the season really does kick off now, and that's racing for real. None of this sprint shenanigans. Checking with you later for a debrief. So this is my run breakdown for the second day. As you can see, the starts were just so consistently better than the day before. I kind of had a little bit of a trick, I felt like, to handle the problem, and then obviously after lunch when the problem got solved, and it was just not an issue at all. They weren't the best starts though. I think somebody was down in the 2.3s. I think Caterham said anything below 2.7 is a decent target in an academy car. But yeah, the thing to look out for though is my terminal speed right at the end of this table. I was consistently high all weekend. Even on my bad runs, I was fast over the line. I was taking a shift into 4th at the end of the final straight. A lot of people were leaving it in 3rd and brushing the limiter. So I don't know, maybe I've got a spicy engine. Maybe that's one to watch. But I think realistically, or hopefully, it's just more representative of me getting out of the hairpin cleanly, and my athletic physique maybe a bit more, letting the car romp down the road a bit quicker. Who knows? But definitely one to watch throughout the season. There we go. Everybody's gone home. I'm not the fastest packer-upper, I've got to be honest, but I made a right mess of my little area, so good to get a bit of a tidy up. I finished 5th, which, if you'd have offered me that at 2 p.m. or lunchtime, I'd have absolutely bitten your hands off for it. In fact, I'd have bitten your hands off for that at the start of the season when I ordered the car. That's just such a great result, and I'm very grateful. I'm grateful because it felt like the lap came from nowhere, to be honest. I've been just faffing around all morning, and the guys at Caterham were brilliant. They gave me some really good support and ultimately fixed the problem, whatever that problem was. They fixed it. And yeah, I was nowhere. I just couldn't put a lap together. And the laps that I did put together, there was such inconsistency in the lap time, which, whether that's just a nature of sprinting, I'm not sure. But when I do track days and stuff, I pride myself on, pretty consistent laps, and I just couldn't get any consistency here today. So when the 66 dead popped up, I was over the moon with that, and yeah, it managed to keep me in fifth at the end. Really, really tight field. I mean, I don't have the numbers in front of me, so I'll probably be talking rubbish, but between second and third, it was like 300ths. And then there was something like a quarter of a second between like the top 10 or something ridiculous like that. Again, I'm probably getting these facts all wrong. Maybe it looks silly, but it certainly felt like that. You could make the tiniest improvement and jump up like 10, 15 places on the grid, which bodes really well for racing, really well. So yeah, Brands next. I'll get the car back and see if I can uncover more about what was done today, and just try and give myself some confidence that the mechanics are all good for Brands. Yeah, I'm glad the sprint's behind us. To be honest, it's not an event format I particularly look forward to, and the Brands week hopefully I should be able to build into that. Well, it's the same for everybody, of course, but I should be able to build into that. Yeah, in a controlled manner. So yeah, quick drive home for recent standards, an hour and 40 minutes. Might have a beer. Might celebrate with a beer tonight. Of course, massive congratulations to our podium sitters for the weekend. Max P1, absolutely devastatingly quick right from the first run. I think his very first run was a 67 while we were still learning our way around the course. Not only did Max, put it politely, not only did Max thrash us, but also he thrashed the Academy lap record at Curborough. So massively impressive. Well done, Max. Yeah, definitely one to learn from and try to hang on to throughout the season. Richard and Matt brought up second and third. These two were so close, and with Matt being number 99, he was the very last car to run. So there was a very, very, very nervous Richard at the timing hut, waiting for Matt to go over the line. And yeah, Matt just missed out on that P2. But yeah, the three of these guys all really quick. Looking forward to hopefully mixing it with you guys throughout the racing. Well done again. Good morning. The morning after the first event. The now battle-hardened Caterham sitting ready for its next adventure. So I'm just going to come get my SD card so I can grab the clips that you've probably already seen. So my job list for Brands. First thing is I need to sort this lot out. It's getting a bit silly. There are some Lotus wheels in there. I've not gone mental. So what I've got these were the wheels that came on the kit. So these are the tyres that I've pretty much destroyed at Anglesey. They will be pretty much in the bin now. The tyres that were on the offside of the car were okay. I might keep those as like a part one set of rears, yeah, just in case. I don't know. So, but anyway, let's just assume that set's going in the bin. This is the brand new set from the new supplier for this year, HP tyres. And I've got the wheels that are on the car. These were second-hand wheels from last year. And also the tyres on them were second-hand from last year as well. So these were Rich's wet weather tyres that he was prepping for his Academy campaign last year. So thanks again, Rich, for those. These are the ones I actually sprinted on yesterday. These will probably become my track day tyres. I mean, they're fine. I could start racing on them, I guess, but they're over a year old now. I don't know what that means for the quality and the speed of these tyres. So I'll just use them as track day tyres because they're in really good condition. The only wear they've really had was from the sprint yesterday, which is not much. So yeah, these will be my sort of track day wheels and tyres. And that will leave me alternating between these silver wheels, and then these are the newest set. There's another 2 somewhere, not sure where they are. And as you can see, these are still on the original, the old Avon Academy tyres, which are huge. They're just so big compared to ours, which is why if you watch any kind of older Avon Academy clips on YouTube or whatever, you'll see them using different gears in different corners, and these effectively geared the car longer in the old days. So they never needed to get fifth, and we occasionally might need fifth and things like that. So anyway, sort out the tyres, get the right tyres mounted onto the right wheels. I'm going to go over the work that Caterham did for me yesterday on the wiring in the dash, not because I think it needs looking at, but more because they had a few bits that they didn't have the right size heat shrink and stuff like that. So they're giving me a list of homework to get done. So I'm going to do that and just get a better idea of what they actually did under there, just so I know what to look at if the car starts playing up again. And that's pretty much it. I might get the strings out again just to make sure the alignment's all good. It should be, because CTS looked at it for me just before Curborough. It certainly handled fine, or as well as a clap-cold set of tyres can handle. It handled great at Curborough. So, really not much to do. Weight-wise, we got weighed a few times at Curborough. You could voluntarily weigh yourself on the Friday, which I did a couple of times, I think, just to gauge where I was on various fuel loads. And then we got a mandatory post-run weigh-in as part of the performance scrutineering stuff. So I did come in above the minimum limit both times, but it's very close. I've got to be honest. If I lose a wing or two during a race and I come in on absolute zero fuel, it might be cutting it a bit tight. So I need to think about what I'm going to do there. Probably just run a bit fatter on fuel, to be honest. If I think I'm going to need 10 litres for a race, I'll maybe put 15 in. It kind of solves two things at once, right? It gets me weight safe, but it also gets me fuel safe in case, in case there's some sort of delay and we're sat idling in the assembly area for ages or whatever. So that's probably what I'll do. But other than that, she's pretty much race ready, I think. I'm going to pull these videos off, which again you've already seen. Make sure I'm happy with the camera angle and microphone and everything, and then try to not screw the car up before Brands Hatch.